This is a special segment because I'm going to give you a lesson on cycle analysis as I look at Bitcoin. So I'm going to do both. I'm going to teach you how I start out the analysis, and then I'm going to show you multiple time frame analysis, looking at what is a positive setup pretty soon, and then a more dangerous setup later. And I say that it looks very dangerous to me. So it's in line with what I said at the beginning of the year, and I'll show you my comments from the beginning of the year and show you how that sets up. So we're going to start out by looking at a weekly chart in Bitcoin. I often start out doing my cycle analysis on the weekly chart. It's generally the more dominant time frame that I look at when I do my analysis, and I bring in monthly more when I'm doing analysis for our investor hub or investor section. Monthlies is what Katie does a lot on for Investor Hub also. She brings in very important cycle analysis also. So if you don't understand our Investor Hub, you can write to team@askSlim.com, or you can write to Katie@askSlim.com, and you'll be able to get more information. So let's look now how I start. First thing we're looking at on this chart are, well, there's two lines, and you see one of them is the reversal scout. Now, the reversal scout is an askSlim level 4 indicator, and this is a momentum indicator, and it's very valuable for cycle analysis because it gives you a good sense of when the turns are happening or when certain conditions exist on a specific symbol. So, this is where I start out. Basically, it's a blank canvas. This is where I start the drawing. Now, cycle analysis is an observational type of analysis. Very flexible. You look at repeating time frames, and there's variance in time frames. You look at important levels, but it's not specific levels. It's level ranges. And the important thing is understanding the shapes of what you're looking at and the how it acts around specific key levels. So that's what I'm going to look for as we build into this. So the first thing I'm going to look for is the repeated timing that I'm looking for. So you see these blue arrows that popped into here, and these are where I see significant lows. That's the key where you start out, is you're looking for the troughs, because cycle analysis is looking at wavelengths or waves from low to low. That's where it's measured. And so I'm looking for levels that, that for time frames that show me that there's some repeating distances, like the distance between that low and that low are pretty similar. You see that coming out here. This one looks a little long to me, but that's where the low is, and this is a little shorter. And then this one is kind of in line right there. So I see that, and there's probably another low coming out over here somewhere. So that's what I'm looking at. So now what I want to do is I want to evaluate, from this visual of the identification of the lows that have similar time frames between them. And now what I'm going to do is pull up a cycle bracket tool. This is a drawing tool. And what I've done in here now is I've brought that in, and I'm going to layer that in for you right here, and you see that. So now what I've done is I've used the cycle analysis tool. And I can highlight this, and it'll tell me, well, that's 15 bars. 15 bars is the distance on average from these troughs or lows that I'm looking at in here. And you can see there's a reasonable rhythm that is in here that makes some sense. And I'll take you through more analysis as we step through more layers that we put onto this canvas that we're looking at. So it's really an art form. We're really getting a sense for the repeating patterns, the repeating time frames, the key levels, and use that for projections, especially using multiple time frames, because there's so much information that comes. Let's go here to the next layer, and I'm going to put in what are known as Hurst envelopes. Now, most of you who do cycle analysis and follow our work, you don't use the envelopes. And the reason is because I converted that when I was starting to do this analysis. I read the book that J.M. Hurst published right around the very late 60s or 1970. I read that book in 1975. So here we are 51 years later that I've been doing this work. Actually, the first workshop I ever gave on it was in San Francisco in 1978. That's how long I've been teaching this approach to analysis. Now, I changed this, as I said, because these charts get messy when you start enveloping. And you can get the same message by only using the top line. I call that cycle lines. So I'm going to show you what it looks like so you get a visual here. There's a lot of lines on there. And when I switch to the way we do the cycle lines, you could see it makes the chart less cluttered, but the same information is really there. I also put in these timing lines that you can see right over here, which are essentially pointing to the lows. The real lows. The cycles here that we're looking at are giving you the average lengths of the cycle, and this is how they really came out. And there's a normal variance in cycles. You could see some of them are really hitting the cycles very well, and some of them are taking the variance where the lows comes. Generally, it's about inside of 3 bars either direction. That's not important. What's important is that you get the visual energetic movements that you see in here. For example, when this one in here was coming down, you can see it had a very early reversal right in there, and the momentum in here never turned down. So it showed you a ton of strength right in there. That's an example using the momentum conditions. Also, and I'll talk more about this, you can see the value in the reversal scout because it tells you really when these cycles are moving into rising phases. This is the bottoming phase, the rising phase, the peaking phase, and the declining phase. That's how we look at this. And when something goes up for a long period of time, it only has a little time to move down. You can see that. When something goes up for a shorter period of time, then it has a longer time to move down. That's some of the basics in what we call the configurations or the translation. So this is another layer where it's showing you supports, resistances, and the important aspect of translations. So you see this right-hand translation, that means that the peak came on the right side of the cycle. That only leaves a little time to decline. In this case, it was a left-hand translation because it rallied, made a double top, then broke the key low, and that said, well, it's going to fall for all this period of time. You can see that really extremely valuable. When the bottom formed in here from the reversal scout, you see the top right in here, the bottom right in here, confirming the next rising phase. We would have thought it would hit resistance right over here and then turn down. The probabilities are high that these resistance levels would hold it. But once it gets through the repair level, it tells us the translation is improving and we can look for more bullish conditions. In this case, this cycle completed, you went into the next cycle, made much higher highs. That's the important information. You see right over here where this rally or this rising phase was very diminished. There was a downside pressure that you could see was coming, that occurred right in here, that actually was coming from the monthly chart, and I'll show you that. And then it got up here right below the resistance, failed, broke the key support there, the cycle low, and then, pardon me, continued weak down in here. So now you could see the cycle we're in is rising and rising for a long period of time. So I'm going to use that information, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to my regular chart in here on the weekly chart and show you that, and you can see how I use this information to project. So this is the regular daily weekly chart that our members get right here. And you can see in here that, well, I'm projecting to the downside right over here. Well, why is that? Well, we have right over here a long rally and a corrective period right in here that is due. You can see that. The support right over here is similar to where it got down there. So right now, top of that support is around 76,900. The bottom of that support is around 70,900. So somewhere in here, it's likely to pull back. You can see in here that the cycle patterns are very clear. The rising phases, the peaking phases, the declining phases. Here you can see a double top occurred in the breakdown, all that valuable information. And you can also see that the area in here that we're looking for a pullback goes out to sometime late June or early July. Where do I get that information? Well, if I go to the daily chart, and that's right over here, I can see the same cyclical patterns. They give me information. And I'm looking here on the daily chart. And this daily chart says to me, see this 78.6% warning level and the cycle low right over here at 75,130. This is a warning that this is getting downside pressure. The reversal scout over here is turning over, and that's showing me downside pressure. And if it breaks under here, under that 75,130, that will confirm this cycle has peaked, and that will mean that it's likely to decline out over here into this late June or early July period. So I have the synchronization of the weekly and daily out here in this late June, early July period. That's why I have this pointing over here on the weekly chart over to this late June or early July period. So this is the beginning of the multiple time frame analysis, how I use this. Of course, we're looking at momentum conditions, we're looking at cycle formations, we're looking at support resistance and how it acts during those periods, and using the information from the weekly and daily chart with each other. So now what I'm going to do is bring in something else, and we're going to look at the monthly condition. So you see this decline right over here that was very sharp from 127,000 down over here to 59,000 and change. That was a big decline. Now that you would think if there was a lot of downside pressure like that, there was a force working on it. One more thing I want to say before I go. One of the lessons about cycle analysis and what you can learn in the cycle analysis workshop, in this show in a few minutes, I'll show you how to get a special on that, is that cycles work together. In other words, the more powerful momentum influences the weaker momentum. In this case, there was a powerful downside momentum. Once this low came and the rally phase come, you see that you got this upward move. But that made a flag. Why did it make a flag? Because the rising phase could not move up sharply because of the downside force that existed in here. Let's look at that downside force. Here's that monthly chart right over here that you can see. And this is the same time frame with that downside force right over there. This brought you into January, February, into that decline. Right there. And now if you look at the cycle analysis here on this chart, you can see there are harmonic families, the dominant and the minor cycle in here that make up 1/3 of the dominant cycle. And you can see how well that aligns. And that's where this trough was due, that bottom right over there. So what did I say at the end of the year? This is what was in the year-end analysis right there. 2026 ideal cycle phasing. The configuration is positive. So in other words, this low right over here was above this low. But it had broken the 78.6%. So that was kind of a warning to me. That says the next rally is probably not going to get through support. And what I said is that there's likely a declining phase into January or maybe into the April weekly. But we know the January made the low. Rising phase follows into Q2 or Q3. That's on this monthly chart. And here it is right over here, just as we said, rising phase. So we're now here in Q2 right now. And Q3 would take it up over here. Now, this is giving you an upward force right over here, but you could see the momentum still very negative. And the likelihood that it gets into the resistance zones over here and then fails. So for now, this is a rally phase, an upward rising phase that you see right over there. But the major cycle alignments call for a big bear market into 2027. And that's why I've had a sense and have talked about this decline right over here, which is the 4-year cycle or the halving cycle in here, which has been very consistent. You can see in here where the halving cycle came in and over here where the halving cycle came in. All of those, of course, are the time period when miners get paid half as much. And this is very likely to bring a very severe decline And I'm projecting best case down to where this low was, about 49,000, into 2027. And of course, it could be lower. Right now, we're looking at this rising phase being influenced by this negative momentum on the monthly chart, suggesting upside rallies will fail. That's why it's important to use this information as you move into the weekly chart. So let's extrapolate what we have here. The expectation that the market will rally in this rising phase on the monthly into Q2 or Q3 with negative momentum and not even being able to get to the resistance level. That's my first layer, looking at that. The next layer is the multiple time frame analysis. As I look at the weekly rally right over here, and this rising phase is giving me a positive confirmation. In other words, this shape is saying to me, it's very likely when this cycle ends, it's going to make the bottom in here, and it's going to begin to move up again and test these highs or get above that high. So that's my projection right there. That's somewhere in here into late June, let's just say. We'll finish this correction. And by the way, I'm looking for a stock market decline into the same time frame, late June, and it makes sense there would be alignments with that. So this a period right over here into late June that you can see, and then again what I'm looking at is coming up to resistance, not being able to get through there right now, and that's being affected by the negative momentum that we see here on the monthly, and it not even being able to get to resistance there. So you have resistance from the monthly playing on the weekly. It shows you this here. It's, gotten up into the resistance, but still not anywhere near that last cycle peak. Likely to come down over here and move up. And what is the timing for that? Well, I go over to the daily chart, and this daily chart tells me this timing over here, somewhere around late June, is likely where this weekly low is likely to form, and then we get into the next rising period. So if I extrapolate from that, this is likely to see something like the pattern that you see here, and then when that corrective period is over, these rising phases here in late June or July begin to join up with the next rising phase here in the weekly, moving up, which will be fighting the negative conditions that we see here in the monthly. That just tells you that the rally in Bitcoin is very likely to have a hard time moving up. There's probably more near-term rally to come. But then when that's over and you get over here later into this year and into the next year, there's very likely to be a very significant period of decline. That's why I say positive now, likely to make upside ground, dangerous later. That is the cycle analysis lesson on Bitcoin and my multiple time frame analysis. Positive now, danger later. Love to hear your comments on what you learned.